quick ad. With Time Twist, you get exciting, bizarre, and significant historical events delivered to your phone every single day. Enjoying this episode? There's so much more in the app. You'll find the link in the show notes. Let's get started.
All right, welcome. We've got this fascinating stack of sources right here, and they all focus on one specific date, July 28th.
That's right. And our mission today in this deep dive is really to unpack all this information, dig into this stack, and just see what picture emerges. What significant moments, people, turning points are tied specifically to this single day across history.
And honestly, looking through it, the events are just incredibly diverse. We're talking, well, everything from huge global conflicts, major political shifts,
All the way to, sporting triumphs and some really unexpected, kind of curious little details, too.
It really seems like July 28th is a date marked by both incredible highs and some really devastating lows.
Yeah, exactly. So let's explore what makes this particular day resonate so strongly through the years for, well, so many different reasons.
Okay, let's dive in then. And we're starting with some pretty heavy material right away, the echoes of conflict that seem to mark this date.
And you really can't talk about July 28th and conflict without going straight to 1914.
This is the big one, isn't it? The day Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, it was the spark.
Exactly. That single act, it just ignited this chain reaction. Empires were suddenly on a collision course. And looking at the material, it's so clear that with this declaration, it feels like a whole generation's innocence was just lost forever.
Yeah, the definitive start of World War I, a massive turning point for the entire planet, really.
Absolutely.
Then decades later, July 28th again sees this immense scale of modern warfare, specifically World War II.
Yes. Shifting to 1943, on this date, you had the intense British bombing raid on Hamburg. The sources, they describe skies literally raining fire. It created a firestorm so catastrophic. Over 40,000 lives lost.
40,000. The sheer scale of that destruction, it's almost impossible to really grasp.
It is. And interestingly, sort of linked to air power in that same year, the material also mentions the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress.
Right. Now, it first flew earlier, 1935, I think.
Correct. But the sources note that its legacy, as the symbol of American air power, that really solidified around 1943.
It's a pretty stark historical parallel, isn't it? The development and the impact of the very technology being used in those devastating campaigns.
Yeah, it is. And still in that realm of aircraft from the era, but a very different kind of tragedy.
Sure.
On July 28, 1945, a B-25 bomber crashed directly into the Empire State Building, right here in New York City.
Yeah, a terrible incident. 14 people perished in that. But what's really striking is a detail. The material highlights the building.
Exactly.
Incredibly, it was operational again within just 2 days.
2 days, wow.
Yeah, it's presented almost as this powerful example of resilience, that sort of New York way of bouncing back, even from something so shocking and tragic.
So looking at these events together, July 28th in the context of conflict, it shows these moments of just unimaginable destruction, global war, firestorms, urban crashes, but also these glimpses of, well, immediate human response and the sort of parallel track of the development of the tools of that conflict, a day certainly marked by the intense impact of war.
Okay, moving on from the battlefield now, let's shift gears entirely and look at power, politics, and maybe some moments of justice that happened on this date.
Right. This section brings us to some very different kinds of turning points, these ones playing out on a global stage.
Absolutely. The material points to a really significant moment in U.S. politics in 2016. Hillary Clinton becoming the first woman nominated for president by a major political party.
Yeah, and regardless of anyone's political perspective, the historical weight of that specific moment happening on this day, it's just undeniable. It's marked right there in the sources as a real milestone.
And then on a very different political stage, in 2020, we saw what the sources call a rare reckoning for power.
Ah, yes. The conviction of Najib Razak, the former Malaysian prime minister, on charges of massive corruption. The sources really frame this as a significant moment of accountability, kind of symbol that even the mighty, when faced with the justice system, can potentially fall.
And jumping back in time a bit, 2005 saw a really significant step towards resolving a long-standing conflict.
That's right. The IRA declaring its armed campaign was over. The material describes this as, well, the end to a conflict that had spanned 3 decades, and maybe the beginning of a path towards healing.
It happened, as the sources put it, not with fanfare, but with hope, which is quite poignant.
It is.
What's fascinating here is how these different events on July 28th capture these moments where power dynamics just shift dramatically, or accountability is finally sought, or these long conflicts find some kind of path towards resolution.
Yeah, these are definitely moments where the course of nations, or at least significant political narratives, seem to take a distinct turn on this specific date.
Okay, so from the weighty world of politics and conflict, let's dive into something maybe a bit more focused on individual and national triumph, sporting achievements and milestones.
Yes. July 28th has definitely been a day for athletes reaching the absolute peak of their game.
Especially in cycling, it seems. The Tour de France features quite prominently here with two really significant wins.
Yeah, first, back in 1991, you had Miguel Indurain claiming his first victory, a huge moment for him.
And then, much more recently, 2019, Egan Bernal won. The material notes he was just 22, the youngest winner in over a century, and also the first Colombian winner ever.
And you can almost feel the national pride, can't you? Just from the description of how his nation reacted, a moment of just massive celebration back home.
Definitely a huge day for Colombia. And speaking of national pride and athletic success, Ian Thorpe, the Torpedo. He had a massive day in swimming back in 2001.
Oh, absolutely. Winning 6 gold medals at the World Championships on July 28th. The material really paints this picture of Australia just beaming with pride after that performance.
An incredible haul.
Yeah. And let's not forget the opening of a major global spectacle. In 1984, the Summer Olympics began in Los Angeles on this very date.
Right. And this was happening, you have to remember, amidst those Cold War tensions, there was the Soviet-led boycott. It added this whole layer of geopolitical context to the actual athletic competition.
Absolutely. And it was on this day, July 28th, that Carl Lewis really began to emerge as an Olympic legend, didn't he? Launching that incredible run of performances.
His sprinting, his jumping, just phenomenal.
Defined the era in many ways.
So yeah, across cycling, swimming, the world's biggest athletic stage, July 28th has clearly been a day for individual excellence and these moments that spark just widespread national celebration.
It definitely shows the capacity for triumph, for collective joy on this particular date as well, which
Right.
is a nice counterpoint to some of the earlier stuff.
It is. Okay, now for something completely different again, let's look at some fascinating diverse events, historical turning points, unexpected disasters, maybe a few surprising discoveries or curiosities that landed on July 28th.
Right. This section really highlights the sheer variety this one day can hold across the centuries. It's quite amazing.
Let's go way back first to the dramatic conclusion of a major figure in the French Revolution, 1794.
This is the day Maximilien Robespierre faced the guillotine. The material frames this as the revolution turning dramatically on itself, describing his fall as both an end and a beginning, a violent pivotal moment in that whole era.
A real turning point. And alongside these sort of historical shifts, July 28th has sadly seen some significant disasters too.
Yes, reminders of nature's power and, well, human vulnerability. In 1987, there was a devastating rock slide that buried the entire village of Morignone in Italy.
Oh, wow.
And then in 2013, near Avellino, also in Italy, a tragic bus crash took 38 lives. The sources note it as one of Italy's deadliest road tragedies ever.
Just awful. And going back even further, the material reminds us that, well, history sometimes just bows to nature in the most devastating ways. It mentions a 16th century storm near Gotland in Sweden where 6,000 sailors perished.
6,000. These events, they really stand as these stark reminders of the unpredictable forces that can shape this particular date.
Yeah. But amidst the tragedy, there are also these quieter revolutions and some surprising little curiosities mentioned in the sources.
Right. Like, consider the quiet revolution of the inked fingerprint, used in India back in 1858 on this date.
Yeah, the material notes how this seemingly simple act just profoundly changed crime solving forever. I mean, before this, identifying people reliably for investigations was so difficult, wasn't it? Relied on less certain methods.
Exactly. The fingerprint offered this unique permanent biological signature. It revolutionized forensics, personal identification. Its impact was global, really, all starting, arguably, with that application.
And then for something completely different, just totally out of left field, the infamous Cannes jewel heist is tied to this date.
Ah, yes, the one with the definite Ocean's 11 vibes, as the source puts it.
The details are just incredible, aren't they?
Yeah.
One man, 60 seconds, over 100 million in gems stolen.
And the thief, according to the sources, never caught, just vanished. A moment of just audacious, still unresolved crime on July 28th.
It's amazing. So this section really shows how July 28th is this incredible mix. You've got dramatic historical shifts, major tragedies, both natural and man-made.
And then these surprising technological breakthroughs or even these like Hollywood-style criminal acts.
Yeah, it's a day that just refuses to fit neatly into any single category, doesn't it?
Not at all.
Okay, finally, let's just quickly touch upon some of the people born on this day who went on to leave a really significant mark on the world. Their lives, their legacies, they add yet another layer to this tapestry of July 28th.
It certainly does. The material lists some truly influential figures from really diverse fields, too.
Yeah, there's Karl Popper, the philosopher of science born in 1902. He gave us concepts like falsifiability.
Right, the idea that for a scientific theory to be, well, scientific, you have to be able, at least in principle, to prove it wrong. A really fundamental concept in how we approach knowledge, isn't it?
Absolutely. Then there's Terry Fox, born in 1958, widely seen as a Canadian hero for his incredible Marathon of Hope, running across Canada with one leg to raise cancer awareness. Just immense courage.
An inspiration, yeah.
Also, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, born in 1929. She just redefined elegance, style, and, well, influence as America's first lady.
A cultural icon. And then from royalty to rock and roll, the list also includes King Vajiralongkorn of Thailand and Richard Wright of Pink Floyd.
Yeah. The material notes that Wright's distinctive keyboard notes still echo through generations. A really lasting legacy through music.
It's true. The fact that these remarkably diverse, impactful figures all share the specific birth date, it just adds another fascinating dimension to the whole historical significance of July 28th.
Well, we've certainly taken quite a deep dive into this stack of sources about July 28th.
And what really emerges, I think, is a day of incredible extremes, just as the material suggests. You see war and peace, triumph and tragedy, genius and grit, all packed into one date on the calendar.
It really shows these moments where the world turns, doesn't it? Sometimes violently, suddenly, sometimes more subtly, more gracefully, but always moving forward in some kind of profound way.
Yeah, and looking at a single day like this, across all that history, what it reveals, I think, is a surprising number of, well, recurring patterns. You see instances of immense human resilience in the face of disaster and just the complex, often unexpected interconnectedness of global events.
So maybe the final thought for you as you think about all these different things that have happened on July 28th, from the spark of a global war to the quiet impact of a single fingerprint, from political giants falling to athletes reaching their absolute peak, does looking at this single day suggest that maybe history is less about these grand, sweeping, inevitable narratives?
And maybe more about the chaotic, sometimes random, unpredictable accumulation of countless individual moments and events that just happen to collide on the same date by chance.
Something to ponder, definitely.
It certainly is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive today.
Until next time.
If you liked it, feel free to leave a rating and subscribe to the podcast.